Hey there, guys. Before we start the video today, I wanted to just take a few seconds to condone the disgusting behavior that we've been hearing about come from Activision Blizzard King in the last few months. I think that it's really important to stand by the victims and let them know that they're being heard. I wanted to make just a video kind of celebrating the recent acquisition for Microsoft, and I do hope and I believe that better days are gonna be coming for Activision Blizzard. But I think it's really important to kind of look back and just you know condone the harassment that's been going on. So I wanted to post a link down below to the ABK Strike Fund GoFundMe. So if you want to, contribute to their efforts, you can do that. And then I'm going to post a little graphic with a suicide hotline. If you're having any sort of trouble with that, I want to just provide a number where you can seek help and just let you know that your voice matters and, you know, things are going to be better. Yeah, I just wanted to make kind of a serious little insert here. I think it's really important going forward, talking about this company. And yeah, I just wanted to stand by the victims and let them be heard. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in a few seconds. Hey there, guys. This is Jeremy with the Level Designer, and I wanted to make a kind of a video celebrating the recent acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft. I think it's a really good thing. I made kind of a statement before making this video that I think is really important, but I want to keep things positive. I think that this is a pretty great acquisition, and I'm excited. So I wanted to um, make a level based off one of my favorite Blizzard games, Overwatch. What I did was I kind of went through. There's a great video out there by Blizzard's Aaron Keller that he just goes through. Well, I guess that's not the best picture, but he kind of goes through just some great things about how the levels are created and everything. So I'll paste a link to this video down below in case you want to watch it. But with that in mind, I did kind of go through and I made a few kind of a template for Overwatch map ideas and stuff. So we'll kind of go through that, and we'll try to you know start on a good map with that. But what I wanted to do is make a Overwatch map. Of course, that's what we're doing, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this in Unreal Engine, and I am going to just block it out, and you know, I'll try to keep this video somewhat longer than I usually make videos for, because I really want to really block out a full level and try to just focus on the primitive shapes, but try to make it stand out and try to make it feel like the place that I pick. Um, so kind of the first step with that is we need to pick what type of game mode we want to design a map for. So there's a few different examples that we have, and we're on the Overwatch map website right now, so we can kind of get a good idea of what's already in there. I didn't want to pick a place that has already been done before. I want to try to do something that the team over on at Blizzard hasn't necessarily made a map for. So that's something that we're going to kind of think about. So we have a few game modes. I really like the whole escort. What was it called? Payload. I love that game mode. Um, we have kind of this payload map here where we have like Dorado. Yeah, it's probably Dorado, where you just go and you just do the payload. There's a map like Route 66 that's great. And we can kind of, I guess we can kind of click these. I guess are these? Yeah, these are just all the maps though. So there's different ones. I do like hybrid though. I like the idea of going to a point and controlling a point and then moving the payload over. So I think that's kind of the direction that I want to go with. So in here, I'm gonna go with a hybrid, and I'm just gonna go with control and then escort. I think those are some of my favorite maps. And we have stuff like Hollywood. So if you haven't played Overwatch before, they take these real life locations and they have this lore of Overwatch that they kind of paint, with a general paintbrush, this Overwatch world over these real life locations. It's actually really interesting from a level design perspective and a level artist perspective of living in these real life locations, in this kind of twist of it being a part of this Overwatch universe. So that's something that we're gonna have to think about when choosing a location for this map. Excuse me real fast. All right, so sorry if I cough and stuff, but yeah, I think that's something to really look forward to. Is we want to pick a location, but we want to have that that Overwatch fantasy component to the map. So when picking a location, we want to think of different landmarks. What are really recognizable places? Something like Hollywood really works because everybody can recognize that Hollywood sign. It's kind of in the background, but even going through the map, you're going through a movie studio. You can kind of see, I'm guessing that's Hollywood Boulevard, and you start out in the, start out in like that Chinese looking theater in Hollywood. I forgot what the name of it was. It was just a really great map that, gives you that Hollywood feel. And it's totally it's totally that location. Kings Row. So this is going to be in London. It's another great example of a great map where you have the Big Ben, and that's right there in front and center. And then kind of with that fantasy aspect, you have the cityscape, and it's really futuristic, and that's kind of more of the Overwatch kind of aesthetic. So that's something to kind of think about when thinking about different locations. If we go to the escort too, we have Route 66, which is just a desert map that has a lot of Americana pieces to it. There's an abandoned town. There's this kind of raggedy old gas station, and then the escort team starts out in like one of those old Americana diners. So it's a really great map to kind of explore. And then a lot of the map that in that video that guy from Blizzard was talking about was this Rialto map. And I did make a few notes down here where, like a map like Venice, as he said, there's going to be a lot of water canals. So to really stop people from just going into the water and dying, because that's how water works in Overwatch, they basically just had these moving gondola boats going through the canals and stopping people from just dying from the water if they go in that area. Still, there's kind of a risk of just ending up in the water, but I think for the most part, they kind of solved the issue a bit from, having the gondolas go through, and really, kind of like as he explains in that video that I'm going to link to, once you get, if Lucio boops you over the water canal and you land on a boat, it feels pretty cool. And it's kind of like, oh, a boat saved me. So I think it's really kind of cool to think of, how can we take what we already have, as far as, game mechanics and stuff, and really bend these rules and do something different with a level to make it feel a little bit more unique. And of course you have, that iconic Venice architecture, and you have, the giant, kind of the giant tower over here. Again, I'm only really familiar with Venice from like Assassin's Creed 2, so I'm not too familiar with a lot of the places. A few places I could kind of recognize, but that's only from Assassin's Creed 2. But that's great level design. I recognize those landmarks, and if I see one of these buildings, I know, hey, that's Venice. I went there in Assassin's Creed 2. So yeah, that's another great example. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through and pick a location. So what I did was I went through and I went through a website where there's, top rated tourist attractions. Of course, there's a few of these that I believe they already done. I think they've already done Paris. And you can kind of go through and check all of these maps. I know they've done Paris. Yeah, they have Paris here. So of course I don't want to do something that they've already done. I know that they're making a Rome map for Overwatch 2, so I don't really want to do that. I think New York City. I kind of thinking about it. The more and more that I think about it, I think New York City would be a great place to make a map. I think that's probably going to be my top pick for right now. Then we have like Machu Picchu, which, the thing with Machu Picchu, and I made a note of it down here, but one of the things that we want to keep in mind, and this is stuff from that video, so this is stuff from, a level designer who has worked on Overwatch, but they have kind of these rules where, if they're making a escort type mission, or map, I'm sorry, not mission, but map, they do want to keep kind of the height, kind of limited, because you really want to go through the map and see a lot of the different abilities that each character does. So we want to keep height to kind of a minimum of 2 or even 3, and height just means if we're going through a map, there's just general levels. So most of the time with Overwatch, and if you've ever played Overwatch before, you can kind of think about these things in the experience that you've played. But usually there's one ground floor, and it's another kind of level above that where there are platforms and stuff. But they don't stack a bunch of. It's not a very vertical game. It's a very horizontal game. So, excuse me. The thing with Machu Picchu, of course, what you see here, it's very layered and stacked on top of each other. And it's just a ruined city. I think what we could do, as far as like an Overwatch type lore, is maybe, and I'm not too caught up with all of the lore and stuff. I know, sort of all the groups and stuff, but maybe there's a group that is going through here and exploring the ruins for lost technology or something like that, or just maybe like a mining outpost. So you can kind of do that there, and you can probably add in a bit of the Overwatch flavor and stuff like that. You go down here. I think Athens would be a really cool place. I believe they already have something like this. I know that they have Greece, but that's Italy, so yeah, they have Greece there. They have Nepal. I don't really know. I'm trying to think of a map. I don't know which one it is. I think it's a control. maybe it is Ilios. So I think they have a Greece, but I think Athens, that is also really great. Yeah, Athens is Greece. So yeah, I think they might already have kind of an Athens type area. I think that's was something in Ilios. So that's something that I don't think we'll want to necessarily do. They have India, which I believe is either Oasis or I know they have. I don't know if Symmetra, if she's Indian or not. I don't know. But I think they kind of have that already. Yeah, maybe this is like an Indian style thing. So I think they've already kind of done that. Um, they have done Egypt. That's Temple of Anubis. I think the Great Wall of China would be actually really interesting. If you have like a payload go on top of the wall, and you'd have to probably put in a bunch of buildings and stuff around it. And I don't know. I don't really think that really makes sense because um, I don't know. I think Great Wall of China would be kind of difficult because you'd have to divert from the main path, which, as you see here, um, there's let me see. I wrote down like level design values, and all of this information in this document are things I got from that video. But he kind of talks about how when they're building a map, they have a main route, a main road that they really focus on, and that's to really guide the player where they want to go. But they have a bunch of different branching intersections and different interiors that they can go and split off from the main path. And they can a team can use that to gain an advantage, or if you're losing, you can kind of go around and do that. But again, I think it's really important to stay on that one main path. And the difficult thing with Great Wall of China is I feel like you'd have to build structures around the Great Wall in order for you to just get off of that main path and kind of go around things. Maybe near the central towers, like this, and then this and this. Maybe you have some structures that you can go off, but I think it's pretty limited as far as Great Wall of China goes. So I don't think I want to do something like that. Cambodia, I'm not too familiar with it. I'm sure if I did a little bit more research, I could probably design a map out of that, but I don't really want to do it because I'm not entirely familiar with Cambodia. I'm sure it has beautiful architecture and whatnot, but I just am not familiar with that, so I'm going to pass on this one. But of course, if I was making a game and I had a little bit more time, I think doing the research and looking at architecture and seeing, again, landmarks, they're important. I don't know really hardly any landmarks in Cambodia on the top of my head, so I'm gonna have to just pass on that one. But I'm sure it's a great place to make a map for. Again, with Petra Jordan, I see this and I just think like ancient Egypt. That's probably more ignorance on my part, but again, I'm just not too familiar with the area, so I can't really make a map based off of this. So yeah, that's kind of I think going to be a pass. Grand Canyon, I think Grand Canyon again is a lot of the Route 66 stuff. They've already kind of done that. You really can't do anything different. I'm pretty sure this is basically Grand Canyon. So that again, I'm gonna have to pass on. England. Now this is a really great, interesting thing. They've done London, which is really good. But if you think about Stonehenge, I've never really been there before. But all I'm really thinking is about, what I'm really thinking about is just these stones in the middle of fields. There's just is there stuff out there? Again, this is kind of more ignorance on my part. Of course, I'd have to do a little bit more research and see, but I just don't think you could make an Overwatch styled map around Stonehenge unless you really added to the lore, and maybe there's a group that liked Stonehenge so much that they built a city around it, and Stonehenge was like just this thing in the center of the city. But I think that's too much. I don't think that I don't think the Overwatch lore necessarily goes that in depth with like building a new city. Again, they try to take existing locations and they try to kind of fit it with their own kind of spin with the Overwatch lore attached to it. Indonesia, again, I really see this picture and I am sure that this map is beautiful. I really like, what's going on here. This would be a really interesting place to get more architecture from. But again, I'm not too familiar with it, so I'm definitely not going to make anything from this in this video. But again, this would be another great place where I see this, and I'd love to do a little bit more research, see what other landmarks are there, and try to see what I could do with that. Niagara Falls, again, it's kind of like Stonehenge. Never been to it. I don't know exactly what is around there. I could see maybe if there was like a dam, like if you did Hoover Dam, like if there's a Las Vegas map, which I think is another kind of great pick. I think Las Vegas would be awesome. There's a lot of great buildings there. There's a lot of famous casinos, and you could kind of go through maybe a part of the strip, maybe even go through Fremont Street, and you'd have to maybe either start or end the map kind of going over Hoover Dam. Of course, everything, and again, like a lot of these maps, like Kings Row, like there's a lot of creative liberties that they had to take with these areas where, they're not going to necessarily be one-to-one, what the city looks like. You really have to just let go of all of the kind of, you kind of have to let go of kind of all of the real life structure of what a city looks like. Just kind of design the map, put in the locations and the landmarks, and just try to make the flow and the feel of the level feel fun and make sense in this sort of universe. So again, I mean, we could add some to Niagara Falls, but I just think that would be too much. I don't really see there much of being hardly anything. Again, if we were going to do a dam, I would pick something like Las Vegas, where you do have like stuff like the Hoover Dam, but as I was kind of trying to explain, you'd have to really design the map to have it flow, but have it be small enough where, everything, you're not traveling a whole giant way to get a payload to the other side of the map. So, and you might not even be in Las Vegas. Maybe Las Vegas is out in the desert, but I mean, if you're just gonna stick with Hoover Dam, I mean, that's kind of boring. So yeah, I don't know, it's something that you'd have to kind of think about. So yeah, I'm going through here. I think Sydney would be great as well. Again, I know of the Opera House. I think just having a city is probably going to be the best bet. I'm guessing this is a mountain, Africa. Again, don't know much about it. I know that they have like New Bonny, which is in Africa, so they already kind of have that area. Again, I think China would be great. I think May is from China, so that would be a great place. I think the only real location that we've seen of her is from like the science experiment that she did with like the cold and getting like frozen or something like that. But again, I think something like this, there's a lot of beautiful Chinese architecture that is just really breathtaking, so that'd be a really great map to go with. Prague Castle, again, Prague, I've kind of heard about it, don't know much about it, so I wouldn't be able to really discern it. But again, I think a map like this would probably look pretty close to either Paris or the London one, so I think it wouldn't really be too special. So yeah, I think going through these maps, I think New York City is going to be the best map to design for. I think there's a lot of great things, so I'm going to make a little note of that. So I'm going to just write down here, New York City. So when we're thinking about New York City in the Overwatch world, I'm gonna go to New York City. Of course, I think a lot of these decisions are going to be solved through. I think a lot of these decisions are going to be solved through concept art and whatnot. But what we're going to kind of do is we're going to just try to block out a level and try to make it be a New York City Overwatch map. So I think the first thing that comes to mind is I have the landmarks here and what makes a place unique. So I have New York City. So I'm going to just make a list of things that I think of. So we have Statue of Liberty. I think Statue of Liberty would be a great center piece, whether it's in like a thumbnail like this. We could have the Statue of Liberty, or Overwatch's version of the Statue of Liberty, you know, in the thumbnail, and we'll get to that. We'll get into kind of the Overwatch lore a little bit later. Excuse me. Hello? Okay. So, we have the Statue of Liberty, so I think that's important. Kind of looking through here, let me, I think my computer is kind of, let me, boop, there we go. So, we have, thinking on the top of my head, we do have the Brooklyn Bridge, which would be really great. Brooklyn Bridge. Again, I might not be typing a lot of these things out. We have the Empire State Building. I think the Empire State Building would be great to put in there. And we're gonna really just be doing we're gonna just put out all of the landmarks. We're gonna cover all of our bases. So yeah. So we have Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, Empire State Building. The thing with like Freedom Tower is I think Freedom Tower is something that's recognizable, especially if you're kind of more from around that area. And yeah, I don't know. I think that something as controversial as like something like 9/11, I think would be probably best to leave out of the map. Not, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a respect thing there. You know, again, I think that you could probably do something. Maybe there's an Easter egg. Maybe you could put in like a small little memorial or something that pays homage. But I don't know. Again, maybe you put in Freedom Tower. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Freedom Tower, I think it's called. Again, I think putting in Freedom Tower would probably be fine. My only thing is that we would want to add probably more futuristic buildings because this is an Overwatch world, and that's kind of what, you know. Again, if we go back to London, you know, they have a lot of these futuristic buildings, and you know, it's a very different sort of world that they live in. So with something like Freedom Tower, I feel like the Freedom Tower would be kind of lost in translation because Freedom Tower is a very modern building. So I don't know if it would necessarily be as recognizable, especially if it was in the background. Like, I feel like almost we'd want to have taller buildings even taller than the Freedom Tower, and we'd want to have a lot of them. We'd want to kind of mirror what this sort of is like, because again, this is a different type of New York. It's a lot more futuristic. So yeah, I think that's something to kind of think about, where you don't want to get things lost in translation. You don't want people to miss it. So I think Freedom Tower is going to be a pretty big question mark. But we have Statue of Liberty, we have Brooklyn Bridge, and we have Empire State Building. I think those are all great. We'll also have Central Park that we can do. I think Central Park would be a great area for you to possibly start in, or for the payload to go through. Again, it doesn't have to be like super big. You could have it, be kind of a little area. So we have that. Again, I think another cool place would be Times Square. I think Times Square should definitely go in the level. It has a lot of lights. It's very recognizable. I think we should totally do something with that. And of course, all of these ideas probably won't even make it into the level. We have also the Metlife Building, which is going to be, if you've ever seen this building, it's very recognizable. You have, it's one of the more iconic buildings in New York City for sure. So we have this, and of course, you could have your own Metlife Building. We could have it being run by a company in the Overwatch universe. It could be run by, I don't know, somebody. I know that there's like a lot of like Overwatch brands and whatnot. Like, I don't even know if I can find any of them. Brands? Yeah, I don't know. Lore. Again, that's something that, I'm sure at Activision Blizzard, if you're working on Overwatch, they'd have, documentation and all of the lore and stuff. So I think that's a good start. I think we have a few good, a good few ideas that we can implement into the level. So we have the landmarks taken care of. So now what we want to do is we want to think about all of the Overwatch elements. Again, we want to have like a futuristic cityscape. I think it'd be kind of cool to have, the rocket propellered vehicles and stuff. So I'll just say Overwatch vehicles. So I'm going to do that. I misspelled vehicles, of course. And one of the things I really wanted to think about was, we have like the Statue of Liberty in real life, but one of the things I think would be really cool to really make it an Overwatch type of thing is to replace the Statue of Liberty and just have it be one of the heroes in Overwatch. So if we go to Overwatch Heroes, we can kind of look at all of the different options that we have. There's a bunch of characters. I want to say that the American characters, we have Cassidy here, and then we have Soldier 76. So we could have an Ash, maybe? Ash would be probably good, but I think Soldier 76 would be pretty good. And then also I think it would be kind of important too. Overwatch. New York map. Is there a New York map? Maybe they're making one. Ah, yeah, they are making a New York. Okay, well, we won't look at any of that stuff. I'll just make my own version of New York. I guess I didn't realize that they're making a New York City map. That's fine. I haven't really seen any of the map. If I have, it was probably a while ago and I kind of forgot about it. But we'll kind of make our own New York City map and we'll see how well it does. Um, so, again, I think it's kind of important to pick something. So, I think with this one, I think what we could have is like Soldier 76 as statue of Liberty, something like that. Or they probably have just another hero as the Statue of Liberty. Lore wise, you could have it if there's like a hero that America, stands behind, or if somebody did something really good. I don't think, yeah, I think Cassidy, like he used to be an outlaw or something, so that wouldn't work. I'm not sure about Ash. I feel like Ash and Cassidy are very Western styled characters, so maybe there'd be another character that you add lore wise, and that's probably what they would do. Is they would pick a place and say, hey, who's from this location that could tell a little bit more about the story of it. So that's entirely something that they probably think about, and they probably do a lot of the time. Um, so you have Soldier 76 as that. Also, I want to really think about if we're going to like Hollywood. Another thing to think about is just the type of technology. So again, I kind of talked about like these kind of interesting looking cars around the map. You have like a movie set, and everything's pretty based in real life, but there are like, this trailer just has that Overwatch kind of aesthetic to it. So it's really kind of, it makes it exist within that world. So I think that's really important. Um, so yeah, and you have this Chinese theater where things mostly look pretty close to real life. I mean, it's not super crazy, and really on Hollywood, you don't have a lot of the you don't have a lot of the futuristic buildings that like Kings Row has, but I feel like New York City would be super different for sure. So then this is kind of a I think it's kind of good to look at some of these layouts for some of these maps. So like right here we have just a street, and then we go in and then we have a control point, and then we after the control point then we take it around and we put it and get it on the payload or deliver the payload. So yeah, I think that's really great. um, Let me see. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is like the Blizzard kind of amusement park. So this is another control or hybrid map where you have the control point, and then you take the payload, where the team has to come through here, and they have to control, I believe, this point, and then once they do it, then it comes out, and then I believe so. I think that's how it is. I think this is the Paris map, I want to say. So again, this is a control. No, this is just control. So you'd have that point, and then yeah. So it's really interesting. This is Dorado. Yeah, I think this is Dorado, where you have to. This is just strictly the escort. This is Eisen. Yeah, so this is another kind of area where there's this is kind of a control point where you have to control this point, and once you get this, then you have to escort the payload to the final area. So I think these kind of overhead maps will be very great. So I think one of the things that we need to really decide on is let's go into hmm, I'm going to open up Epic Games. Hold on. So I'm gonna go into Epic Games, the launcher here. I'm gonna start up a new project. So I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna launch this. So while I'm doing that, I want to go into Photoshop here. I'm gonna just get the general layout of this. So I'm gonna create new, and I'm gonna just have this be a default Photoshop size, and then I'm going to go and call this New York City Overwatch map. I'll just make that. So I'm going to create. So one of the things I want to keep in mind with this is I want to start to really play around with the shapes and whatnot. So as you see here, we have just a general layout. What? Okay. I don't know what you're... No, stop it. So I'm going to go into here, and then I'm going to pick a... I'm just going to pick a kind of a light dull thing. And I'm just going to use squares and stuff. So, kind of thinking about New York City. I mean, New York City is a very grid-spaced city, but we really don't want the map to be grid sized. We really want it to be, you know, natural. And you can see from a lot of these maps on the side here. I mean, they're not very boxy. Other than this one, but most of them have curves to them. They have these shapes to them. So I think it's really important to, you know, kind of stick with something like that. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of trying to like be really particular about things, I'm just gonna start really just blocking out like a general layout. So I'm gonna go into here, and then I'm just gonna start just blocking things out. I'm not gonna have any sort of plan or anything. I'm just gonna start kind of blocking things out and try to have things kind of make sense. Of course, I want to spin things around. I want to make things look kind of just different. Might add something like that, maybe. Maybe there, I guess. I don't really know. Again, I'm just trying to just make kind of an interesting layout shape. It's probably not the best way to make a level, but I don't know. I think it's kind of nice to just let things happen and just kind of see what comes out of stuff like this. So we're just gonna we're gonna just do weird things here. I'm gonna add in probably a bigger section right here. Of course, we want to kind of keep thinking about having a control point and then have it be escort. So this is a very escort-ish type area of a map. So we might even build this out and then kind of go and really expand on this. So I'm gonna kind of put in just a bigger area right here. I'm just gonna move these around. I think I feel like I feel like it's kind of being a little bit too chaotic. I do want to keep things kind of relatively in the same, so I just don't know. We have that there. We just add in just a few cubes. Maybe, you know, maybe things can be like alleyways or something. Again, we can add in. We can have like alleyways and such. I don't think that would be too bad. We can have, you know, this be the inside of a building. We could do a whole bunch of different stuff. I do want to connect some of these together. So maybe we can have something like this where it's maybe this could be like a interior space. I'm gonna have that. I do want to expand this though. Really make sure that there's enough space where you can see what's going on. So we'll have this. I'm just gonna start over there. We'll go and we'll make a thing there. And maybe this area will then open up. I'm going to have the payload end right here. So maybe this could be a special area. So we have that going. This is kind of interesting. Again, I might add like maybe a little piece here to do good. So we have like we have kind of an interesting we just have an interesting payload area here, which is great. I'm gonna transform these a bit. And again, this is gonna be like the ground layers, so I think it's really important to kind of keep that distinction. What I'm gonna do is whoa. What am I doing? I don't even know. Maybe this could be like a corner theater. We can figure out different ways of doing stuff. So this is gonna be like we're gonna create a group. So we have this group right here, so we can actually, can we not? So let's just select all of this, and then we can actually move this around. Just want to make sure we don't. So I kind of have this kind of interesting little control point here, or payload. So now what we want to do is we want to really focus on an area where there's going to be like a control point. So we're going to start from here where the payload could be right here, or it could be, yeah, it could be in a number of different of places. So I think what we are going to do is kind of start out because I want to make a few notes of things that I'm already seeing. I think what would be kind of cool is to go in here, and I'm going to just pick a font thing, and I'm just gonna make a few notes. So as you know, we have this kind of Word document here where we have all of our different elements that we can add to the map. So right here, I think that it would be really cool to add like the Metlife Building here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just type in Metlife Building and just add a note for that. I'm just going to make it really small, and I'm just going to place it right here. This is going to be the Metlife Building here. And that's I think that would be kind of a cool place. This could be a building that, you know, kind of encompasses this whole entire area, and then you can go through and you can just, yeah, you do all of that stuff. So then we have so we have Metlife Building. I'm going to, I think it's fine. So we have Times Square, and I think what would be really cool is if we had this section be Times Square here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Group 1. I'm actually going to open up images of Times Square. I'm going to try to picture what this might look like. So Times Square, I'm just going to go to Times Square, and I'm going to take a look and see what sort of stuff that we need for it. And again, maybe it would make more sense to have the payload go through Times Square, but I really don't know if we want to have that be something, or if we want to have yeah, I don't know. I think we can play around with it maybe a little bit, but we're gonna have to decide. I'm gonna pick this gray again, and then we're gonna go back. This area, before we jump to the control area, again, this could be a really great area where, you know, this could be a really great area where, and the enemy team can like spawn in, and like, because there'll be an area where they have to spawn probably from here, and then there's going to be a second point where they're going to have to get to the Metlife Building. They'll have to get there, and then they'll have to spawn relatively close that way. So yeah, we want to kind of play around with that. Again, I don't even know. I kind of want to bring this out too. I don't know if I want to just have it just be a tight turn. So yeah, I just feel like what we should do is and this could make a difference in the map itself. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in. Don't really know how I'm gonna do this, other than no. Maybe we can lock this. I think what we should do is lock it if I can. I don't know. Or just do that for now, and then we can select these. Let's just select these. Move this down here. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue to build out kind of the areas on this. So I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna go back in here and I'm gonna just apply some more squares. Whoa. Just fill this up. I really like having this area though, but what I might do is I might add to this, or maybe there's a little way that you can go here. And maybe this could be another kind of like building area or something, or actually here, let's do this. Let's make kind of like a back. Let's make like a back alleyway, and maybe there's like an area, like a building that you could go into. I think that would be kind of interesting. So maybe there's like a building that we have access to, and then you could go around here, you could do that. So what we kind of want to try to do is we want to try to have it be where it comes around here, and then you have to push a bit through here. So, and I want to add in some areas where maybe it's going to be a little bit more easier to get from one point of the map to the other. Because you see from a lot of these maps that we have, there's a lot of alleyways, there's some parts, but I don't know, I feel like it's a bit much. I really do. So I'm gonna kind of fix this a bit. I'm gonna delete that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just keep that, and we could have kind of an area where they can kind of come through and go on the other side. But I don't know. I kind of want to move this a bit, where maybe it's like that, or I don't know. Maybe have it be just more closer to, like, maybe this is a good building. You go through and have to do that. I think that would be really great. So we have this map going here. So I think next what we should do is I think that's really improved. I think that's going to be a lot of fun working with that. Excuse me. So I'm going to go and I'm going to make kind of the capture point. So from what we can see, there's this long kind of escort point, right? And we kind of already have that. But then there's a much smaller control area. So we really don't, I feel like we don't really need to add much more to this layout than just what we absolutely need. So again, I was thinking about having Times Square be, probably the beginning area. Um, again, you don't have to like do everything in like a giant block of Times Square. It could be like maybe a little section of it where the player probably starts out at. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just take a look and see what would make the most sense as far as a player spawning. Now, I do want to make sure, and this area is kind of like that, and this area is kind of like that. Every time that you start an Overwatch match, they start in a little place that's like closed off, and then it opens, and then you go out. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. And maybe Times Square is not the way to go. I don't really know. We don't have to have Times Square, but I think it would be kind of nice to have it in there. But again, we have so many other options available. So we have Central Park, where maybe the players will start in like an area with a bunch of trees, and they have to go out. I actually really like that idea too. We have the Empire State Building, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, I think, okay, so I think it'd be kind of cool to have, the team that has to protect the point it could be a thing in Central Park, and then the opposing team will have to exit, the Empire State Building, because I don't know if Empire State Building, is that like right next to Central Park? Again, it doesn't really have to match up exactly. Oh yeah, like, where is it? There's Times Square. Where is Central? Where is? Oh, yeah. So it's right here. So Empire State Building's right here, and then Central Park is over here. So in real life it wouldn't make sense, but again, I think that would actually be a pretty interesting area. So what I might do is, with that in mind, I might go through and add in the beginning portion of this. So we kind of look at the Empire State Building itself. It's going to be a pretty long building. So I think what we should do is have it really be kind of big and long. Again, this is going to be just a general size of it, where the building is going to be pretty big. I might have it start there. And then on stuff like what? Oh. No. There we go. We could have it be like this. So this could be Times Square. I have a giant street. Be the okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna bring this out a bit so you can see like the whole edge of the map. So what I'm thinking is this is gonna be the Empire State Building. So I'm actually gonna make I'm gonna make a little text note of that. Empire State Building. Oops. Let's add that there. I'm gonna make this be very small. I'll just add it there. So we have Empire State Building, and then we have Metlife Building. So what I'm thinking is with this, we're gonna go through and we're gonna have Central Park be right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Central Park be like maybe this whole area, but we're gonna close off a lot of this area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add in maybe this here, and then this here. Now the thing that we want to keep in mind, of course, is that we have a main route. So I don't necessarily want to have a giant area that the player, you know, can explore and stuff. We really want to try to keep things kind of congested, so to speak, and whatnot. You know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do Central Park. I just, the more I think about it, the more I just feel like it's going to be too much. So I think what I'm going to do is instead of doing the Central Park thing, what we could do is we could have Central Park be something that's closed off here, like say. So maybe up here, if we want to select this and we want to duplicate this, maybe this could be just Central Park. So that's going to be like something that's closed off. We'll be able to see it, but it's going to be something that, you know, you won't be able to actually gain access to. So this is going to be the Empire State Building. So this is going to be a street. We'll have some buildings that, you know, we could probably even build some buildings that you can go into. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to have Times Square. So what we're going to do here is I think right here, we're going to have a street go on the side here. Of course, this is going to be closed off. So we're just going to we're going to close this off anyway. So let's set it here. And we'll have another street thing here, and then we'll kind of match these up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in another kind of gray area. Whoa. So what this is going to be is this is going to be like the giant Times Square tower here, right? So I'm going to just put in here I'm going to group 1. That. But I'm going to select Central Park. I'm going to put so I'm going to put Times Square. So I'm going to put Times Square there. I think it'll be kind of cool. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to just add some more stuff here. Again, we have this giant building that, you know, I kind of want to do is we have this square, right? But I don't even think we really need to have this square. This could just be the front of this building. So we could actually make this building here. I don't really know what it is. We can have the players that are going to try to fight for the control point spawn from right here. So we could actually maybe expand this down a bit. And then we can have really interesting. So, you know, I'm trying to think of yeah, man. So I don't know, like, you know, when you're watching like a show or something, or like Times Square Studio. That's like the thing that I can think of the most. So I'm thinking about this as I'm designing this level. I'm thinking it would be really cool to have like an area where, like right here, you are in a studio and maybe there's a little alleyway or something, and then you go into this other building, and maybe there's like you go up a floor on here, and then like you're in this like studio or something. Did you know how like in a lot of you watch TV and stuff and you see that, you know, you always see on TV that they're in these studios on Times Square where you can see Times Square and stuff out the windows. It'd be really cool to have something like that. And then, again, you can kind of be up to interpretation on how this is going to look. but maybe you can then go out from the studio and maybe there's like a hole in the wall, or there's something that would allow you to get on something like this, or instead of like, you see how this has like windows on the top here. It's kind of hard to see. I wish I could get a really good picture of what these look like. Maybe I could just, whoa, I don't know if that's what I don't know if that's what I wanted. Let me just go here. You see that there's like windows right here. So instead of having it be windows, this could be like a flat top. We could have, you could have like the world designers create something like this, and then have something like this. And the cool thing about this too, and this goes for not only this, but also this could go for any of the billboards in Times Square. Times Square is going to have a lot of billboards. You could put in, advertisements in that universe's lore. You could have little messages come across the screen that, talks about events that are happening in the Overwatch world. You could have a whole bunch of stuff like that. So I think that's going to be kind of what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to just have this get added here. So it's going to be something where, you'll be able to kind of jump on. I'm going to kind of place that there. So maybe there's going to be a little thing here, and then we'll want to, because the thing with having this thing here is we'll want to have sniping points. We will want to have areas where, Widowmaker and like Ana can snipe from a top. So I think that's something that would be really cool. Again, I think that would really bring this area, much closer together. So I think that's something that we can definitely do. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go to TV Studio. And it's going to be a very specific thing. And then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to name this scrolling message balcony. And that's just so I can kind of keep a note on ideas that I have once I start blocking out the level and doing different stuff. So like the idea with this is you're in the building where at the very can I go back to Times Square? No? Let me just go back to Times Square. So the idea is that you're going to spawn in that building that's in the middle, and this is going to be Times Square. You could put in whatever you want there. But then, you'll have to go and you could go through and stuff like that. So, with that in mind, I'm gonna continue. And we could go down here and connect this, but I don't want to do that. I want to try to make this as dynamic as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in maybe a few square. Oh, come on. I'm going to add in a few squares. I just want to add in some stuff. Maybe some areas here that we can use for just different areas. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually select all of these. Whoa, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all these. Oh, That's not what I wanted. Select these. I'm actually going to place this here. So then what that will do is that will create a good kind of portion of the map. You're going to have to go in, and then what we could do now is we could actually add in little areas here. So we could have an little areas here. We delete that, and then we could added this. Yeah, see, I don't really like this area though, right here. So I'm just gonna kind of work on it a bit more. I think that this might actually work best if we just kind of keep it a bit simple. So like something like that. Again, we'd have the ability to come out. I'm gonna move the Empire State Building back a bit. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of I don't know. Not like in the way, but I don't know. I just feel like it would be better if it... Yeah, maybe like this would be the front of it, and then this is like a little hallway. This is more the street. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of ways to make it seem like this... It's going on out on like a major street or something. And this could be blocked off. This could be blocked off. Maybe there's like a parade going on or something. We could have it... yeah, we could do a lot of different stuff with this. We're gonna have this... Oh, actually... I kind of like this. I don't know. I feel like this is actually kind of an interesting shape that I actually just came across. It's kind of nice to have like some happy accidents and whatnot happen. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just make this kind of do what I need it to. So I'm just kind of work with the shapes here. Again, this could be anything. I mean, this could be a back alleyway. This could be a building. This could be a lot of different things. Maybe we want to bring it out there. The question though is do we want to connect this to this area? I don't think so. But I want to I think what I want to do is actually, and this might actually be kind of interesting to kind of work with, but I'd like to have like a catwalk. What? So if we have like a catwalk here, maybe you can like enter into this building, then you can climb some stairs, and then you can have like a catwalk coming across here or something. That way, you know, you can have some sort of line of sight to this area and whatnot. But with that in mind, I don't know. I might want to actually expand this out a bit more. So if we go over here, we might actually want to make this like another road, or it's kind of going a bit, and then we can actually add in more kind of areas on the sides here. So, or we could just keep it at that. I think that would actually really be kind of interesting. And we have a building here, and then we could just have a catwalk that goes to there. And then we can have it connect to a building over here. So then they can come out this way. So there's really different areas that you can kind of use for different choke points, maybe. Actually, no, I don't know if I like that there. Or what we could do is have the that actually might be pretty interesting. So instead of the catwalk being right here, you can actually have like the catwalk across the street there, and we can block off the street and have the catwalk and whatnot. And then maybe there's maybe there's a way to like close it off or something. I don't really know. I feel like with that though, we'd want to kind of pull this building maybe close to there, so it's not like in the way of the street. Because again, we want to keep in mind that this is a living world. We want to make sure that, you know, people are driving on streets. Maybe this is blocked off right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type in some red X's. So I'm just going to go XXX. And I'm going to have these be red. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add in areas where the street is going to be blocked off. So we have the street blocked off here and here. We have a street also blocked off right here. Let me actually move all of these out of here so we can... And then all of these need to go into group 1. So we have a street blocked off there. We also have a street blocked off here. You can't go there, and then you can't go here. And then all of this, and maybe this is just a tunnel. So what we could do here is we'd have an underground tunnel here, which would actually be interesting. or again, it's not going to be. It's going to be different. It's not going to be an exact replica of New York City, but we can actually do what we can. And the reason why I'm putting a tunnel here, I'm closing it off, is because if we look at the map, it makes no sense for the street to just run through this section of the city. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to just make it to where it just goes underground. I'm going to try to make kind of sense of that. Again, it's going to look way different than what New York City actually looks like, but I think with the map like this, it's going to be fine. So I just want to make a note of that and really try to do something that's going to be different. So right here we have, let me go back to the group one. So right here we have a map here. And what I want to do is I don't want to have just one point where enemies can come from. I want to add in another area where they can come from right over here. So I'm going to just add some squares over here, and I'm going to just try to have this be somewhere where players can kind of go and get stuff from. I think so one thing that I am not a huge fan of is I really want to close this out. So what I might do is I might have that go there. I might just, oh, actually, hold on, let me see. I'm really gonna I'm gonna try to shorten this area because there's really no reason for that to go on. I'm also going to try to expand this out a bit, and I want to add in. It's gonna be the Empire State Building. Let me select the group one so I keep all the rectangles in. I'm gonna add that. So we have kind of a good start of this New York map. I really wanted to just kind of build out the initial area here. So I think that's where I'm going to stop the video. You know, I will definitely return to this, and you know, we'll keep working on it and keep working on it. But I really think this is just kind of a good introduction level that we can kind of go with. And you know, I'll make another video probably next weekend, and we can kind of iterate on this, and you know, we'll start to really play around with the shapes. I at least want to get kind of the floor plan done. This is going to be all of the different walkable areas, and again, some of this is going to be on a higher level, so I think it would be kind of nice to just get this kind of drawn out. I might even put this through like Blender and just create kind of a shape for this starting out before I start a video, and have this floor plan you know, kind of out of the way. But yeah, I think we're gonna be kind of ready to start really blocking this out and seeing what it's gonna feel like. So yeah, if you like this video, please subscribe and comment down below. You know, this is a really fun project, and I really can't wait to see what comes out of it. But yeah, again, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you later. Bye.